I was able to get the correct size vacuum tee that I need for the pressure switch, and I was able to get more nylon tubing. So I have the tubing hooked up to the check valve right here, and I'm going to run the rest to the nozzle. Now it's going to be ran a little weird because where the nozzle stopped when it was fully tight is right here. So it would have been better if the inlet was over here, but it's over here, so it's going to might look kind of weird. We'll cut it long. We'll cut it long before we cut it too short. Just push it in like that, and it's in. Okay, so, I mean, it doesn't look the best, but this car is not about looks, obviously, if you've been following this build. Now, for our pressure switch. So now the pressure switch is hooked up, we just need to hook up the wiring from this to the pump. So this kit came with this 5-prong relay and connector with a bunch of wiring. This is to control the pump from the pressure switch. Because my battery now is located in the trunk, I think it's going to be easier for me to mount this in the car back near the battery, because that's where the battery is and the pump is, and that's where most of the wiring is going to be for this. The only wire that comes all the way up here, which we ran with the Meth line, is the signal wire from the switch to this relay. So right now, I'm going to hook that up. They provided us with crimp connectors. So the wire that we're running connects to this very top prong on the pressure switch, and it runs all the way back to the relay. I don't think you've seen me use these on this show before. These are pretty awesome strippers, crimpers, and cutters. These are vice grip strippers. I bought these for my job, my real job, but I fell in love with these. These are really, really good strippers. They don't have grooves up here to where you can only do certain gauge wire. This can do really any gauge wire, and it strips it really quick. Put it in there and it strips it pretty easily, and you can cut it, and it's also got stuff to crimp. So I'm gonna cut, strip, and crimp with this tool, and if you guys like this, I'll have a link in the description so you can purchase this. I really like this tool. Strip and crimp. And now that it's crimped, go ahead and stick it on the pressure switch. Right on the top port, just like that. Okay, so the battery is back here. I'm going to mount the relay probably in this area somewhere. The first thing I'm going to hook up is the battery positive cable. And there's a 20 amp inline fuse that goes in line with this that came with the kit. So we'll crimp this connector on here, and then we'll crimp this end to my battery cable. I actually have an auxiliary cord coming off my battery terminal, which will make this pretty easy. Okay, that one's nice and secure. It's a little bit bigger than the cable for the relay, but as you can see, I have an auxiliary cable right here off my battery terminal, so I can get direct power from the battery for this. Okay, now we have direct power with a 20 amp fuse. Okay, this next wire that we're about to connect to this relay is the wire coming from the pressure switch. So we have this red wire that we ran all the way up from the pressure switch to here, and this is the wire connected to the relay. We're going to crimp it together. Okay, so now our signal wire is connected. Now we have 3 more wires. We have a ground, which is going to be very easy. For our ground, all we are going to do is cut this very short, put one of the eye-hook connectors that came with the kit, and put it on the screw that we're mounting the relay to. Okay, so we only need to cut the black wire about this long, maybe 4 inches. Okay, so this is our ground. You just bend it around, and you can put it right behind the relay, just like that. Okay, so you put the eye hook on, then the relay. And just like that, we mounted and grounded our relay. So right here we have a pair that actually comes out of the relay connector. It's a green and a red wire. The green wire goes to the pump, the red wire goes to the injection relay that lights up to let us know we're pumping. And of course the wire isn't long enough to reach the pump, so I have some leftover black wire from when I cut the ground. I'm going to use that for the green wire to connect to the pump, and then I'm going to use my own wire to run this red wire up to the dash. And once again, we're using crimp connectors for these. But after I finish this wire, I'm out of connectors for this kit, and I'm out of wire, so I'm gonna have to buy my own butt connectors and wiring for this kit. So there's a lot more expenses for this kit than I was expecting, honestly. Alright, so actually right now, the guts of the system is hooked up. The only thing left to wire up is just the LEDs for the kit, the low level light and the injection light, but right now it should pump meth. Okay, now it's time to wire up the injection LED, which tells you that the pump is pumping, and the low level light. I'm gonna mount them right here behind my steering wheel with probably some duct tape or something. I don't really know of a better place to mount them and a better way to mount them. Not trying to spend too much more money on this kit. They would mount pretty easily right on there with just a piece of tape, and they're right in my face. And for this we had to run a couple wires. Right here in my hands I have 4 wires. This red wire right here is coming off of a 12-volt ignition circuit. Actually it's coming off of the factory fog light switch, which I now use as my fans. So when I turn the ignition on, I get power here. This is for the low level light. This wire right here is a ground. It's grounding to the steering column. And these black wires are also for the LEDs. This one right here is for the low level light. This takes the power from the 12-volt ignition and then sends it all the way down to the switch. And then when it gets low, the switch grounds it and the lights come on. So the low level switch always has power. It grounds to complete the circuit. Now this one, this is the wire from the relay that this is the wire from the relay that sends power to the pump. So it branches off. It sends power to the pump and power to the LED. So when the relay kicks on and sends power to the pump, this light turns on. So we're gonna go ahead and wire these up. Hopefully it's not too confusing for you guys, but I will show you everything once it's complete. I ran the wires up to the front here for the LED lights. Let me go over what I did. It was kind of a long and boring process. I didn't think you guys would really want to see exactly what I did, but I ran the wires necessary from back there all the way up here, through this kick panel, and then up through here. Okay, so we are at the very final stages of this. I have all the wiring in the back finished up. I only need to run one more wire, and that's a 12-volt ignition source from the ignition to the pressure switch over here. And I didn't want to run a wire all the way from the inside of the car. That's a waste of wire, and it takes a lot of time running it through the car, waste of energy, so I figured it'd be a lot easier to run a wire from inside the engine bay somewhere. I didn't want to tap into any of the sensors or any of the fuel injectors or anything on the engine. I didn't want to interfere with that. I didn't want to make it possible for anything to fail. So what I found was this wiper motor right here. One of the prongs is a ignition source. So when you turn the key on, this prong right here has power. And then when you turn the key off, there's no power. So it's a 12-volt ignition source. So I'm going to splice into this wire here and then just run the wire right over to the pressure switch. It's only about a 3-foot run. It's going to be pretty easy. So we're going to do that, and then I will show you guys the whole overview of the whole system. Okay, so the prong that was lighting up was this one right here, and this clip actually has a cover on the back. So it's this wire, and this is all like dielectric grease or whatever. So this is the wire that we will be splicing into. So I would take my handy dandy skizzors, electrician skizzors, and cut it. And the power's off now. Alright, now we just have to run the wire from over here to the pressure switch. And it looks like that should be plenty long enough for now. Grip it and put it on. And then we can try to fish the wire over there in a semi-neat manner. Twist it together up here. Put this in the crimper. Get in the hole, get in the hole, get in the hole. Oh yeah, in the hole. And now it's crimped nice and good. Okay, so we have successfully completed the entire installation of this kit. Now we can try to test it and see if it actually works. So if you can see, there's 3 prongs on this pressure switch. This right here goes to the relays. This is the signal wire that goes to the relay. And this is the power that's coming from the 12-volt source that we just hooked up. Now, it's supposed to go on this middle one. This prong on the bottom is for a test. So if you apply power to this, it bypasses the switch and just sends power straight back. So it's a way we can test the pump. So when we go to test this, that's exactly what we're going to do. All we have to do is move this power wire down here, and if everything's working, then we should see water coming out here. The warning light, it has constant power here from the ignition, and then once we get low on level, it grounds it and it lights up red. Okay, so I'm at the back of the car right now, and you can see there's a red light on the steering column. When I turn the switch off, that little red circle goes out. But when I turn the car on, it's still red. So I'm going to add fluid to the reservoir, and we are going to see if the light will go out when I fill it up. And for this system, we are just using regular washer fluid. This is 20% methanol and 80% water. So it is a mixture. It's not 50-50. It's not full water, not full meth. It's got a little bit of meth in it. And now when I fill this up, the light should go out. And there it is, the light is out. Okay, there we go. Takes almost a gallon with a fresh start. And this reservoir is only zip tied on here, and it's pretty sturdy. But these are pretty expensive zip ties. So now we're gonna test to make sure that the pump works. Okay, so we have our hose disconnected from the nozzle. All you have to do to disconnect it from anything, where the connection is, you push on the coupler that's holding it on, and then you pull the line out. And now we're gonna move our power wire down to the test one and see if it comes out. Our green light on the dash is on. Hopefully fluid eventually comes out. So I'm a dumbass. I wasn't getting any flow with this, and I guess it proves that this part works pretty well for what it's used for. I had my check valve going the wrong direction. Let me show you. I can't believe I made this mistake. See that arrow? It was pointing in the wrong direction. So now I'm gonna flip it and see if it works. I'm a freaking idiot. Alright, now let's see if anything comes out. Alright, I think that works. I think I just emptied the whole damn reservoir with that. So, this system checks out. You don't want to perform this test with it in the throttle body right here, because then you could hydrolock your engine. So when you do this test, either disconnect the line or remove this throttle body piece or the whole nozzle. Do not perform the test with it in the throttle body like this. So we're going to go over this whole system one more time, take a look at it. So here's my relay. The yellow wire gets straight power from the battery. This pair right here that comes out, this green wire goes to the green LED on the dash, and this red wire goes to the pump to turn it on. So they're from the same power source. And then this red wire is the signal wire from the pressure switch. And all 3 of these wires I have running up here and they branch off here. They go to the pump, and the rest go up front. Now the pump, I did put all the screws in, so it's securely mounted right there, and I grounded it to itself. I just put an eye hook connector thing on that black wire and put it on one of the screws, and it works. This reservoir is held in with only zip ties. They are expensive zip ties, but it's actually in there pretty good. And the 2 wires for the pressure switch, the one grounds right there, and the other one goes all the way up to the steering column where the red LED is. And the wires and hoses run down here. I'm going to put some wire loom down there for them. And then I mounted the LEDs on my dash with duct tape because I'm cheap and it kind of blends in. And then coming up from inside the car, we have our pressure hose. This is our check valve, which we needed to purchase because we got a low profile nozzle holder and removed it. And the hose goes to our low profile nozzle holder. And here is our pressure switch. This is our signal wire, and that is our power wire, which we need to move back to the correct prong. Right now it's in test mode, and that gets its power source from our wiper motor over there. So that's the whole overview of the install. So they sent out this sticker with the kit, which I really like because it says I love meth, and it's kind of funny, but it advertises alcoholinjection.com, and since I'm really not satisfied with this kit, I don't want to advertise for them, so I'm actually going to cut that portion off because I only advertise for brands that I really like, and so far I'm not liking this kit, so I'm cutting off alcoholinjection.com and just putting I love meth on here. Yes, I know this is the proper way to clean a window. I'm going to put this right under the Drift Missile and 1.3 Media Crew sticker. Boom. I love meth, but I do not like alcoholinjection.com. They can kiss my ass. Alright guys, there you go. That is how I installed my methanol injection kit. I don't want to say this is how you would do it. There's some things that you may think I did wrong, didn't do right, or that you might want to do differently. So this is just how I installed mine. You can take this information for however you want. I'm not impressed with the kit at all. I think it was pretty expensive for what I paid for it, and especially because I had to buy more things for it. I don't feel like it was a complete kit kind of thing. So I would definitely recommend piecing together your own kit, or if you don't want to go through the time of doing that, just buy a kit like I did and then spend an extra $100 on top of everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now we still can't drive the car because the turbo is leaking a lot of oil, and I'm going to have my friend over at Spoolin Motorsports rebuild my turbo for me. I have a rebuild kit for it, but he's rebuilt hundreds of turbos, so I'm just going to let him do it. I'm probably going to film him doing it and make a video out of it anyway. And then once the turbo gets rebuilt, I'm taking this to Mid-Atlantic Motorsports, and they're going to dyno tune it with the methanol injection. So I'm only running a 20% mixture. I'm running regular washer fluid. Some people use 50-50 or full methanol. The easiest and most economical way to do it is just to use washer fluid. The blue stuff, it's 20% methanol. And you can install this on a car and not do meth. You can just run straight water. You're not going to see as much of a power increase, but it will help a little bit. Water injection is more for, I think, naturally aspirated cars, but this methanol injection, it increases octane, or it increases the octane rating of the fuel in there, so you can advance timing more, and it reduces temperatures, and it's all around awesome. I don't really know the full gist of it, but if you look into it, you'll see how awesome methanol injection really is. So I'm hoping when this thing gets dyno tuned, I'm hoping it'll be around it should be around 450 horsepower. It's on 20 pounds of boost right now, stage 2 cams with meth. So I don't see why it should make 450 horsepower. If you're going to do this and do washer fluid, make sure that you get only the blue kind. The other stuff with more de-icer in it and other chemicals and waxes, I'm not sure how that will react to your engine. The blue stuff is the cheapest and it's probably the safest, and a lot of people do that. So I'm just going to run blue washer fluid, and I don't want to mix my stuff because I want the same mixture every time. If I get it tuned for a 2080 mixture and then I get something else, it might mess it up. So I'm just going to stick to the same thing every time, and it's easily accessible. You can go to like any gas station or convenience store and pick it up. So it's everywhere. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Poor Man Mods. Hope you learned something. Go ahead and install water meth or meth injection, just pure meth injection in your car. Do whatever the hell you want, but you should definitely get one of these kits. It is awesome. It's not easy to install, but it's awesome. So I will see you guys